the Humble Harvest and Eternal Voices, October 1862, Jefferson County, West Virginia. After a great battle, Marmion.
But just as she passed the window, best seen by the sharpshooters, a gust of wind blew her skirts and a curtain aside. Shots immediately announced that the light had been seen.
Mary Ames and William McCarter reflect at Harpers Ferry. The result of battle shakes William McCarter's soul. I asked how the child had been killed. The reply given was, in substance, the same as the old man's. With both hands she slowly and solemnly raised the blood-stained cover off the little breast, saying in sobs as she did so, "Just look here."
Deeds of valor are no longer dreams gone by. We live in knightly days. Our men are dauntless men. Will there ever be one to write the life of the common soldier?
St. Clair Mulholland sees it differently. The regiment had not lost a man, to be sure, but had seen a genuine fight, heard the scream of the shells, and seen a caisson blown up and men knocked over. Thomas Maher inspires, "Well, you are from the old sod, ain't you?" My reply was simply, "Yes, sir." Charles Aglionby keeps his farm going amid war. Last night it rained for an hour or so. It put the ground in fine order for seeding. I sent the wagon to Mr. Moore in 27 bushels by measure. The day was fine for seeding. No military to be seen on our side of the hill. And Willis Ambler sees all from her parents' farm at Rock Hall.
Wednesday, October 15th. Pa is becoming rather tired of our South Carolina soldier. Thinks he is sufficiently well to leave.
And Heros von Borcke keeps one eye out for an empty seat at a dinner table. And I enjoyed the ride the more for being fortunate enough, firing from my horseback with my revolver, to kill a gray squirrel, which, as our mess arrangements had been thrown into utter disorder by the events, was gladly welcomed the same evening on our dinner table. October 9th, 1862. Weather: a pleasant day. Oliver Heights and Harpers Ferry, Virginia. Observations of Harpers Ferry on October 10th, 1862. William McCarter, a stammering Irish-born poet in the 116th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment, had worked soaking and coloring hides in Philadelphia to support his family. He wrote, "Before the war, Harpers Ferry had a population of 2,000, but now, like Fairfax Courthouse, Virginia, it was inhabited only by old men in black and white, women and children, and a garrison of then Union troops. The Confederate Army evacuated on the 19th of September after burning all the stores and government buildings. The Rebs left the once beautiful and comfortable town a heap of black ruins, save for a few small, mean brick and log huts. The saddest and most humiliating sight to us here, and perhaps the heaviest loss to the United States government in this section of the country, was the celebrated Harpers Ferry Arsenal and Armory. It was now one mass of ruins, with only a small portion of the stonework standing. Our own forces had applied the fire fiend to keep it out of Confederate hands.
Annie P. Marmion, then the 10-year-old daughter of Harpers Ferry's Dr. Nicholas Marmion, recalled living under martial law and even under fire that same month by the federal authorities.
Imagine a town filled with houses enough to accommodate over 2,000, and more than 9/10 of them empty. All metals were saleable, hence not a door in all the houses had locks or bolts of any kind. The owls enjoyed the open house system and joined their mournful hoots to the general slamming to emphasize the silence and loneliness. No one entered the town except some messenger of ill, sent always, it seems, at the night and by water from the blockading and sharpshooting, always the Northern Army. For weeks at a time, not a wheel or tramp of a horse would be heard, for everything that moved was suspected and was liable to be fired upon. The great objects in life were to procure something to eat and to keep yourself out of sight by day, and your lamps, or rather candlelight, hidden by night. Lights of every kind being regarded as signals to the rebels, and they were usually greeted by a volley of guns. Groceries were luxuries not to be touched except in time of sickness. But flour and meal must be had. Mills were few and far between, and I wonder now where the wheat and the corn came from. Harry must go foraging, and so they go. John and Queen are hitched to the farm wagon. Each is decorated with a flag of truth, as Harry called it, as it is also his hat. A flag floats from each of the wagons, thus adorned and accompanied by one of my brothers, a lad of 12 or 13. He starts in the direction of the southern line in the rest of Jefferson County. The outgoing trip is accomplished in all but safety, but the return late in the evening is not so fortunate. The meal, flour, and some other provisions have been procured. The team has nearly reached the top of a long hill crowned with the dense woods. When the doctor on horseback joins them. But certain it is that a heavy and persistent fire is opened upon the party, now in full view of the Northern Army. When the doctor's riding horse and one of his wagon horses are shot, they quickly get under cover of the woods, and sheltering the horses, the human element also falls prostrate until darkness covers the earth. Then they resume and accomplish the homeward journey. The balls taking effect in the horse's neck were afterwards extracted, and both animals recovered.
The vestibule and closets of the little Lutheran church, standing midway between Bolivar and Harpers Ferry, and now filled with wounded, are piled with the knapsacks and haversacks of dying and dead soldiers. I go to these and open them, take out every treasure they contain, and with a letter send them to the friends of the boy who owned them.
Mary Clemmer Ames, later a leading journalist, was caring for the wounded and burying the dead in Harpers Ferry in late 1862. A strong woman's rights advocate, she wrote Irene, A Woman's Right in 1872 that included these accounts of her time at Harpers Ferry.
A little drummer boy died yesterday. I have found his haversack. It contained a picture of himself taken with his mother when he enlisted. Such a rosy boy. I thought as I looked upon him yesterday, wasted and dead, that I was glad that his mother could never know how he changed before he died. I have sent his last message and all his things to her. The eloquence of these worm-eaten, moldy bags cannot be written. Here's the piece of stony bread, uneaten, the little paper of coffee, the smoked tin cup in which it was boiled over the hasty fire on the eve of battle. Here is the letter, sealed, directed, never sent. Here is the letter, half-written, never ended, beginning, "Dear wife, how I want to see you. Dear mother, my time is almost out," and the rusty pen just as it was laid in the half-filled sheet by the brave and loving hand which hoped so soon to finish it. Here are the scraps of patriotic poetry carefully copied on sheets of paper tinted red, white, and blue. Here are photographs of favorite generals and photographs of the loved ones at home. Here are letters full of heartbreaking love and of sobbing loyalty to duty and of holy faith and cheer written to them from home. And here is the testament given him by the woman that loved him best. Mother, these are all mementos of brave, loving life gone out. The boys who owned them will never go back. To one unfamiliar with the soldier's life, these relics might mean little. To me, they mean all love, all suffering, all heroism. Deeds of valor are no longer dreams gone by. We live in knightly days. Our men are dauntless men. Will there ever be one to write the life of the common soldier? His blood buys us all that we hold dear. Country, home, a free government, the endless privileges of a free people. I ask no higher privilege than to serve him living and to honor him in his grave. It is after I have been the rounds of ward and tent that I come into this old vestibule and sit down to this sacred task. Sometimes I make up many packages. Sometimes I take up some mother's or sister's letter, and it brings so much back to me that I can't go on. This was so last night. It must have been late, but I did not know it. I looked up from the contents of the knapsack which had moved me so much, and for the first time realized the appalling loneliness of my surroundings. There were the high walls of the vestibule, all torn with bombshells, its dark open closets, its wide floor piled high with old knapsacks and haversacks. I sitting in the midst of them on a box, with no light in the place but that given by the one tallow candle at my side, which threw its feeble and flickering rays over the open bags and their contents. My own feelings, I presume, made the place seem more weird and desolate than ever before.